Almost.
So I had pressure to go abroad. In the sense that when pair group, your mates, my mate they say your mate, not be your mate they build house for your mama so. Not be your mate they buy car for your papa so. Not be your mate open store for your mama so you like which one I can't do for inside now? Your mates they do this one. I beg you know they say people when this one will buy land for your mama, how many head you get?
Don't let yourself be trafficked just because you think that it's greener abroad, it's greener pastures abroad. Yeah, it might be easy there, but think about the fact that there's family here, you have your home here, and there are organizations that can help you. There are skills that you can learn and apply.
I graduated last year from Uniben. I did part-time. I was working and I was schooling. So you can work, you can school, but just get yourself occupied, because there's an adage that says, a lonely mind is the devil's workshop.
That free time you have, your free Saturdays, your free Sunday afternoon, use it to learn a trade. That is what people are doing now. They are not just going to school, they are also learning skills. They are learning how to make shoes, they are learning how to make dresses, they are learning how to do hair, they are learning skills, entrepreneurial skills that can put food on their table.
Many things there when people fit make money for this country. Learn skill acquisition there. You feel learn work.
You can learn anything you know you can do. It can be catering, it can be hairdressing, it can be tailoring, but that thing you know you can do. If you can go to school, you should learn something. And schooling is also very important as much as learning a trade is very, very important.
So if a child who started learning how to make clothes, how to make dresses, right from when she was in JS1 at 11. And then when she graduates at 21, 22, she must have learned this skill for almost 10 years. She would have perfected it. All she now needs is just a little equipment to set her up. Those of them that learned how to braid hair, they are now learning how to do wig, how to do different things, and they are using it to augment, to assist themselves. So going back and learning skills that will help you to make money is better. It's one of the alternatives that we have.
In the morning if I wake up, if I go shop, 1 naira, 2 naira, anything when I say, but definitely, I say definitely they must buy. I dey bake, so anything they must buy. If they don't eat egg roll, they go eat meat pie. At least that one they provide the basic necessity when person they find on daily basis.
The traffickers know or go for people that don't believe in themselves, people that they can easily sway. Don't be easily swayed. Believe in yourself. Know that this is not the least that I can be.
With the 10 naira when I still get, I get that self-respect, I get that self-esteem, I get that integrity when keep me as a woman.
Thank you so much for joining us again on Daybreak Wednesday's edition on Edo Broadcasting Service Television, EBS. Nothing else is better. Right away, we are going to be looking at the need to empower the next generation for governance. You agree with me that it's quite apt, because if we are not concerned about continuity, especially as it relates to the next generation, then we are not getting it right. On this note, I want to say a special welcome to our guest who is ready to discuss this, Jumbo Godwin, a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Jumbo.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Of course, Kayode is still here with us.
Good morning, Joel.
And
Praise Daylight.
I don't think the public they heard you.
Praise Daylight.
Praise Daylight. Thank you for joining us. Always looking like the prince that he is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You know, The future of any nation lies in the hands of its youth. But without intentional preparation, I take that word again, intentional preparation, the future remains uncertain. It remains uncertain. Jumbo, what do you have to say concerning that? Without intentional preparation, the future remains uncertain.
Yeah, for me, there is no doubt that youth are the future leaders of tomorrow. But the way our young people have involved in social vices of today, I don't really think there is going to be a future if drastic steps are not taken. For instance, we have high level of involvement in courtism, and it is youth demography that populates such. We have high level of drug intake, and it's the youth demography. During the days of our fathers, at least there are some morals that were inculcated in them that even when they are not seen, nobody is there, they do things rightly. But our youth of today are so poised with negativity, especially cybercrime and everything. Now, you begin to ask yourself, is there really future for us as Nigeria, as young people? Because if you look at our politicians today, the only investment they keep for us as young people is long-term debt, borrow loan to pay back in the next 50 years. Because for them, they are not seeing youth demography that will stand against them tomorrow, or that will stand against the ills of their policies. You understand? Okay, recently now, when we looked at 2023 general election, there was a glitch in the presidential transmission of results from the IREF. You understand? But the Senate and the Rep, there was no glitch. Now, after the election, the young people, everybody, we kept quiet. We were so comfortable waiting for another 2027 for change. You cannot make any drastic change when you have we've not come together, look at the issue before us, and do a collaborative effort to solve those issues. Now, looking at 2027, with the level of INEC, the level of impunity in INEC, with the level of impunity in judiciary, is there future for young people? There's no future. And so for me, I think what we need to start doing as young people is to come together, shun social vices as one, then have a positive mindset about the future. Come together with a positive mindset, strategize on how we can right this nation again. Because democracy in Nigeria has gone. And without democracy, there is no proper representation in governance. So the youth demography have a lot to do for me. They have a lot to do.
Now let's come to the idea of getting the youths back on track. You are a young man. You said after the Nigerian, what, 2023 elections?
2023, yeah.
When I refused and
Yeah.
that in the presidential there was glitches.
Yes.
But in the rep and senatorial this thing,
There was no glitch.
So, number one, your thinking is that there must have been an infringement of human manipulation.
You're right.
Making the system for. Do you now believe that it was the youths that was supposed to rectify what mechanically went wrong because of human infiltration?
If you look at every polling unit, the youth demography populates those polling units. You understand? I'm not saying, yes, youth have a role to play. Because for instance, like in my own polling unit, after the general election, I waited for the result to be called. And when I saw that the INEC agents were not playing fair, I hold them hostage. I started making some videos. I started making some calls within my own capacity. And they were forced to call my results there. And after calling the result, I told them, transmit this result. I want to see the transmission. They did it. Because I raised an attention that even the security agency were scared of me. Because they don't even know how you, with military and everything, you are raising this kind of voltage. After that, I followed them to the coalition center. I didn't end there. I followed them. They were at the front. I drove behind them. I followed them to the coalition center. I went straight to the this thing. Let me see Ward 1, Oredo Ward 1 polling unit result. They showed me. It tallies with what I have.
Mhm.
You understand?
Mhm.
I didn't just end there. I followed them to Orokotaho. Now, you can see the processes. I made sure that my polling unit was delivered clean.
Mhm.
You understand? See, the truth is, youth have a lot to do to change this narrative.
Mhm.
It is because of the level of lackadaisical nature that we have imbibed in ourselves. That is why politicians of today will just
Now,
look at us and
take it slowly.
Okay.
You are just your statement that the youths have imbibed, just like a former president said that Nigerian youths are idle. You are now postulating that youths have imbibed into themselves the spirit of lackadaisy.
Yeah.
So it's like they are now the problem,
The problem.
to themselves.
No, that can be your opinion.
let me tell you.
That can be your opinion, because most of the youths that you narrated are into vices, drug.
Yeah,
That's how you started your narration.
you're right.
Bulk of Nigerian youths believe that the elder statesmen, the elderly people in power, have hijacked the system from them by impoverishing them, by not delivering on what we make the community, society inhabitable. There are so many things that are not working, and so the youth, water fences level, they have to look for an exhaust pipe. So if most people, youth today, I'm telling you, but from opinion poll, they feel that there are a tragedy of bad leadership of the generation gone ahead,
All right.
and they were not properly taken care of. The energies are not properly harnessed, and so the energy is being used negatively. So how do you kind of rewrite leadership and inheritance on the part of the youths?
Let me tell you, the reason why we still have bad leadership is because the youths applauded them to get there.
Really?
I will tell you, who destroyed polling unit results? It's not 60 years old men. It's not 70 years old women. It's the youths that are also used as mechanism or machineries to do those dirty jobs.
Okay.
Now, in a roundtable discussion, and somebody is telling you, I'll give you 5,000 or 20,000 or 1 million, and you are telling the person, no, it is youth for youth this time around. We want an intentional government. I cannot do this dirty job for you. These politicians, their children are abroad, studying, and we are here doing the dirty job for them. Tomorrow they emerge and they cannot deliver on their campaign promises. And you are here telling us that the old people have hijacked the system. Who gave them that platform to hijack the system? It is we started it. And so we need to have another change of mindset. We need to sit down and look at Nigeria. Is Nigeria working at the moment? Nigeria is not working. There's nothing in this country that we can beat our chest on and say, yes, we are doing well. All the sector, medical sector, banking sector, everything is collapsing by the day.
So in your thinking, the youths are what is making Nigeria not work well?
That is it.
Wait, Prince,
Yeah.
I know you are itchy to say something.
Because what I'm looking at, what he's saying is that, and what Kyle is saying, we all are parents. You're a parent, your father. My dad is still alive. I cannot take over my father's house if my father is still there. So the question I wanted to ask him is that, are the youth going to push themselves? Because looking at how politics is, how government is, democracy in Nigeria, getting a ticket alone is a whole sum of money.
Yeah.
So now, the youths themselves, are they just going to just come into, or do they need somebody to bring them into the system?
While holding your thoughts, Jumbo, to answer that question, I need to come in here. You remember, Kayode, in one of the stories from our dailies this morning, we talked about sacrifice.
Yes, sacrifice.
It has gotten to the point that we must take our future
In
our hands. It has gotten to that point. It has gotten here. Because if we allow things to slide the way we are seeing it today, we may not have a future to hand over to the next generation. So I just want to chip in that. I believe that is what, I'm not speaking for him. Jumbo has a mindset from his beginning that the youth must stand up.
No, we are not saying the youth shouldn't stand up.
And begin to, not going with cutlasses and guns to chase leaders from their offices. No. What do we need to do, Jumbo?
All right. when you talked about the level of the way our politics today, if you don't have money, you cannot fly. Then I will tell you what I did in Labour Party within my own capacity. Now, during this 2024 general election, gubernatorial election, I did a survey. I interacted with Edolites in all the senatorial districts. What kind of leadership would you prefer? I took a documentary, I submitted that documentary to the leadership of the party. This is what Edolites are yearning for. You guys shouldn't go and do otherwise. And at the end of the day, when they did otherwise, Labour Party today in Edo State has collapsed. I won't lie. The faction in Labour Party, the injuries in Labour Party now is something that cannot be mended even before 2027. If they have taken that step, if they have taken the right step towards the right direction, we wouldn't have gotten where we are. You understand? Now looking at, okay, Labour Party came into being just few months, and the next thing is the leadership of the party started made the ticket so about 50 million as at then, and before you know, when Obi made some statement about it, they reduced it to 30 million. For instance, if we the youth took our stand and said no, we want, the Labour Party is the party for working class, and the ticket should be 10 million. Anything outside that, nobody. We raise an alarm, raise so many this thing. The leadership of the party will step down. Now, what I'm saying here is, we contributed to where we are today.
The youth.
70% of what Nigeria is going through today
the
is
youth
as a result
contributed
of
to it.
youth contribution.
Okay, let's look at this angle now. No, let's look at this angle. What role should mentorship and intergenerational, when I say intergenerational, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
the old, the not too old, the young. What role should mentorship and intergenerational collaboration play in raising the next generation of leaders?
That's the question, John.
Because we need it.
That
We
is
need
the
this.
question, because we can't shift
We
away from
need
this what
this.
we're talking about.
It must be a collaboration, because our future generation is at stake here. So what should it be like? Mentorship and intergenerational collaboration
Yeah.
Okay.
in bringing up the next generation of leaders.
Let me just use some of my steps as a case study. When the Edo Diaspora Agency came into being, when Senator Monday Okpebholo appointed Dr. Loretta, the first thing I did, I went to her. I said, my boss, I've known you for quite some time now. You have been this intentional woman who needs positive change within your capacity, and you have done everything to prove that. I want to serve under you. And she was like, can I mentor you? Jumbo, can I do this? I told her, I'm not about, I believe there is time for sacrifice. And this time, I want to sacrifice my time, my energy to learn. Now the question is, are young people still doing it today?
Jumbo, sorry, I'm not cutting you short. I want to ask you, continue.
All right.
Before you went to her to ask her that question, there must be something you saw in her.
You're right.
You didn't just go to her because you want to go to her. There was something you saw in her. That means our elders, those we look up to, must have what it takes to mentor us, must have what it takes to bring up the next generation. Continue. What did you see in her?
Now, you cannot take away experience in all of this.
Yes.
We as youths, we want to make change, but you need to submit yourself under somebody who have experience in that field, who knows it all. You understand? And another thing is somebody whose intentions are clean.
Whose intentions are clean.
You understand? The first thing to do, for me, I just told her, okay, this is what I want. And she was like, can I pay you? I said, no, I'm not. I believe this is time for sacrifice, and I want to sacrifice my time for this. And she gave me a platform which I've started running on, building capacity with. Now, in the next few years to come, the sacrifice I made yesterday will start speaking. And when people start seeing the result, they will like, how did this person came into limelight in politics? It's always like that. As young people, we need to know when to sacrifice. We need to know when we need to drop our ego.
I love this.
And learn from people who have experience and who have gone ahead of us. For us to change Nigeria, we can't just wake up one morning and change the system.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to start from somewhere and build that capacity. You cannot be standing outside and shouting the government is not doing anything. You need to be in the corridor of power. That's one thing young people need to do. You understand? It's not just support, clapping hand, carrying black hats and everywhere. When appointment come, are you included in those appointments? No. You are not.
Okay, Jumbo, sorry. You're looking at the statistics. I just want to picture. Let's see the statistics of Nigerian youth. Let's see how would you categorize it, a youthful leadership. If you look at the category, we have 2.8% under 50 years, while 47.2% are between 50 to 59, while 50% are above 60. Would you say we have a youthful leadership in Nigeria as it stands?
For me,
because there's only one person, the governor of Kogi State, that is below 50 years.
For me, there is no youthful leadership in Nigeria as it stands.
So what is the description of our youthful leadership and what it should be?
Yeah, youthful leadership, so like for instance now, is there anything wrong for us to have an essay? At 18 years, we already have somebody as essay.
But you spoke about experience.
I'm coming. In Nigeria now, I don't want to mention the state. We have 60 years, 70 years running, is still
youth leader.
I don't want to mention the state. It's still a youth leader.
A youth leader. 60 years.
60.
He's a granny.
That's not a youth leader. That's a grandfather. You understand?
Grandfather leader.
Yes, a grandfather youth leader. Please.
So, when it comes to experience, you can take up that office and learn. You can be serving in that office and you are still learning. There's nothing. You learn till you die. That's when you stop learning.
Exactly.
Learning does not end. There is no limit to learning. You understand? In short, the office should give you a better platform to learn more and get more.
But let's look at instability of youths. You know, we are in a climate where things are changing fast. Most youths today are not stable. They are looking for a fast food approach to acquisition and obtainance of power. It is quite interesting to see that we have people like you today who are still ready to pay the price. Honestly. And believe in the context of youth leadership and persevering to see that the system changes. Concerning youth instability, concerning trust in the youth, what do you think makes the Nigerian youth most unstable? They are still 80% of Nigerian youth are there to wait for crumbs falling from the master's table.
Alright.
As we begin to round up.
Okay, I will round up by saying this. One thing that has made Nigerian youths to be unstable is because first, they don't even believe in themselves. Inferiority complex is one factor that is killing Nigerian youths. We believe we can't do it. You understand? We believe we cannot get it right. See, the change starts from us. Have this positive mindset that you can do it. You might not see it happens today. You understand?
Yeah.
On the long run, there are level of discouragement and everything. So many factors will want to discourage you. You will fail at the end. At some point, you will fail. But you should know when to stand up and get back to yourself. You understand? So, first thing first, as young people, we need to shun drugs abuse, social vices. And we need to embrace education. This idea of education is a scam. It's from the pit of hell. I wrote an international exam where there was high level of invigilation and everything, and I cried. Do you know why I cried? It was an international exam. I figured it out with the exams I've been writing all through. You understand? How some things have been happening. But at this international level, it is only you and your God. You understand? That is when your capacity and your ability
be tested.
And so you can beat the lines, but at this point you can't beat it. So what you learned yesterday is what will speak for you now. So first thing the youth needs to do, I've said it before, we need to shun drugs, we need to shun courtesan, and we need to shun social devices. And lastly, we need to believe in ourselves. Nigeria belongs to us, and we have everything to change it. Thank you.
Well, Jumbo, this discussion is inexhaustive, and I believe we're going to come back to it sometime soon because it's very, very germane. Future leaders, they need to be prepared for governance. On this note, I want to say thank you so much, viewers, for spending your time with us today. Thank you, Jumbo, for coming from Kayode.
It's a privilege.
Prince.
It's a privilege to be part of the show today. Thank you so much, Jumbo, for once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you so much, Prince, and thank you for viewers for keeping faith with us. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.